It's a basic one really, because I'm just wondering, because you were the advisor to Barack for faith issues, and I'm just wondering, at that time, did you think that Barack's approach to faith issues was really good? Or is it in the hindsight of Hillary's failure that you're now looking back and thinking, gosh, that was really good in comparison? do you know what I mean? And you being the advisor to Barack, I'm just wondering who was the advisor to Hillary, and were there conversations between you and that person having the same things that you've said to us tonight? Did those conversations happen beforehand? Because I'm just wondering why they didn't have that awareness that we're talking about.
So I'll say that it was a bit of both and. I felt really good. Part of it was Barack Obama followed John Kerry, who John Kerry's campaign manager pointed to Kerry's and the campaign's ineptness with faith as a major reason for his loss. So Barack Obama's just, I didn't think Barack Obama did everything he could have done, but he set a new benchmark. But it's important to note, it took 2 presidential losses to a candidate that Democrats thought it was impossible to lose to again, in order for Democrats to be humble enough to change their posture on faith issues. So that was important. And I'm sorry, just real quickly, can you remind me of your second point?
Not really.
No.
I was just wondering why those conversations.
Oh, right. Yeah. So again, the Clinton campaign didn't appoint a national faith outreach director until the summer, which is political malpractice. Political malpractice. Especially, it's one thing to bring someone on in the summer if you're an incumbent and you have a whole political infrastructure as an elected official, and then you're basically transferring political relationships from government to run. But she had no other infrastructure. So for a year of her campaign plus of her campaign, no one was responsible for reaching out to religious leaders. And so when I knew the person she hired, frankly, if I would have hired the same person they hired, I just would have hired them a year early. Democratic campaigns are focused more on field organizing and direct voter-to-voter contact and state-based plans than ever before. And what that means is that if you don't bring on, all the states have their plans through election day finalized by spring. And so if you don't bring on a faith-based person until the summer, the person did good work with the capacity they had. It wasn't their fault. But they're basically window dressing. They can't affect the actual operations of the campaign. They could do some communications thing and maybe, if they're respected, be a filter for campaign communication, but they can't affect how field organizers are equipped to answer religious voters' questions on the ground. All that's plug and play by that point.
My local Labour Party falls into the old Marxists don't like religion, or the people who think, as you were just saying, like, we've done that, we're better than God, all the clever people have moved on. And then I was involved in Steve Khan's campaign last year, which was the first time in my Labour Party membership that being a Christian was some kind of asset or value.
Yeah.
So how do we move, I mean, cynically you could say that was to neutralise a kind of anti-Muslim thing, but anyway, how do we convince people from these two bits of the party that the Sadiq model's right, even when there isn't a kind of anti-Muslim thing to neutralise?
Yeah, well, honestly,
Or a good idea at least,
Well,
or
yeah.
worth thinking about.
so honestly, the message that I think is transferable, that I'm trying to send to folks back in the States, that I think applies here, is that increasingly, the questions are becoming so fundamental that it's important that Christians and Muslims and all people who hold to faith understand that my ability to be fully Christian is intricately tied to your ability to be fully Muslim. And that if you undermine the ability of one to fully live out their faith, that is going to rebound on you. So I'm actually not bothered at all by, I think, obviously with, I would prefer that be a more solid ground of, strong respect for religious pluralism and religious freedom than political calculation, but honestly, I'll take Muslim-Christian partnerships and understanding however I can get it. Right, and so right around the Prevent program, we saw the Anglican Church raise concerns about how the Prevent programs really conflation of religious orthodoxy with religious extremism could be used against Christian beliefs too. And so that is the kind of ecumenical understanding that is not syncretism, which is not saying all faiths are the same, but it is saying that, look, attempts to harm religious expression in one area undermine the whole enterprise.